starting, and then right now it is telling me that I am live. So one thing you can do is you can test your audio sync right here on this, or you can also test your audio sync by actually opening up your channel page and going to the specific URL of your stream, which would be whatever your channel is /live. By actually opening up your channel page and going to the specific URL of your stream, which would be whatever your channel is /live. By actually opening up your channel page and going to the specific URL of your stream, which would be whatever your
Oh, for God's sake. Aha. Okay. Okay, so apparently I'm live, but I can't see myself. So I've lost the super chat. It's not showing on my channel dashboard. This is really weird. So that and that are the same. So I'm live, but it's not showing I'm live. What the hell? Ugh. I hate technology. I absolutely hate technology. Because without the super chat, I can't share anything. So what I'm going to have to do, sorry guys, is I'm going to have to start again. If you don't mind, and I'll just do it normally rather than through OBS, because I can't see the chat, which means I can't type in and share, and it's going to be a complete and utter ball ache, and I don't have balls. So if you don't mind, I am going to end the stream now. I know, I can see. Oh, I can see on OBS. That way. I can see I'm on live on YouTube, but I've got OBS up, which is fine, but I've got no super chat. And when I go back to the studio, it's not showing my live stream on the dashboard. So I can either do I could do it because I can type into the phone. So it's one way of doing it. Studio mode. Oh God, it's given me two. Let's come out of that. I'm streaming. That's the main thing. It's just not doing what I thought it was going to do. And it's not saying I'm streaming. That stupid bloody thing. Anyway, Okay, I didn't get a chance to make a cup of tea, but Patsy Green has asked me if I would explain about magnets. So I have been doing selling magnets since 2011, so 8 years, for a company called Energetics, and it's a German-based company out of Bingen. Amazing company, I have to say. Let me just turn the fan off. Really, really supportive, very fair with their marketing plan. It's the equivalent of it's an MLM, multi-level marketing. So basically, it's the equivalent of something like Avon or Ann Summers or stuff like that, Betterware. So I buy in at a discounted and sell it at set price. So basically, I've just come back. Our new catalogue is launched on the 1st of September every year. And basically, I have a new catalogue to work from. So I'm still having a look through all of the different jewellery that's been changed. So the new stuff that's there. But also at the same time, every year I go to Berlin and have an amazing time. I meet up with there's hundreds of people from all around the world, and obviously doing it for 8 years, I've got a lot of friends. Generally, I'm the only UK person there, but I actually met one other UK person this year, not in my team. So I am under a French lady called Josette, who has been an amazing mentor for me. And basically, what it meant is that I travel all around the country, either doing talks or I do events about the healing power of magnets. Now, magnets are something that you can make. Take a piece of iron, pass a bit of electricity through it, and you make a magnet. But that's a temporary magnet. What I sell is neodymium magnets, and they are lifetime magnets. All of my jewellery starts at 1200 Gauss, and anything over 800 Gauss actually works on the human and animal body. So more than enough, and it reduces at a rate of 1% every 100 years. So you really don't have to worry about the reduction in the magnetic field, which you would have to do if it was a magnet that's been made, because they actually have a shelf life of about 10 years. After 5 years, they're more than half the value that they started at. So they'd have to be fairly high to start with. So it's not the quality of the jewellery, it's the quality of the magnet that makes a difference on magnetic jewellery. So my website is www.ukenergetics.co.uk. People coming in. You do realise that this is about magnets, nothing to do with crypto at the moment. So basically, what do magnets do? Now, everything that I've learned about magnets, I've had to glean myself, and I have to say, chemistry and physics was not my forte when I was at school. So it was a steep learning curve. But I needed to work out, I had such good results from lots of different people that I needed to work out in my head how it worked in a way that was easy for me to understand, but also easy for me to explain to people, because the first thing they say is, well, did they actually work? It's physics, right? It's physics. The one thing that I do is I like to explain to people what the real sort of crutch of what magnets do is. They help with the pH level and the chemical content of various things. Now, if I can find my magnet stick, then I can show you that this here, carry it around everywhere with me. Everything I have is magnetized. If I don't put the stick in it, drink, water, tea, coffee, Diet Coke, wine, red wine, especially good, or it sits on a coaster, 4 magnets in there. So basically what I do is I magnetize water and wine when I do presentations, because you can actually taste and smell the difference. It's quite prominent, the difference in the taste and the smell. So what it does when you magnetize a liquid is you raise the pH level of that liquid. So water in the UK, especially up in Essex where I used to live, did litmus tests on it. You can take magnets. You can. Oh, sorry, haven't got my glasses on. www.ukn which is why I prefer to do this sort of thing on computer, because I've got fat fingers. www.ukenergetics.co.uk. That should work for you, Patsy. Right, so basically what it does is it raises the pH level of the liquid, so water. 5.6, half an hour, well, 20 minutes of a magnet stick being in the water, glass of water, came out at 7.4. 5.6 is acidic, 7.4 is more near, it's past neutral, which is 7, slightly more alkaline. So basically that's what it does. So if you can think of what it does to water, water when it comes out of the earth is magnetized, but it doesn't hold its magnetism for more than, it's about 3 days and it's gone. So what we have is when we've got in the UK especially, when our water goes away, it's gone through filtration systems and everything like that, I don't know, 12 times or whatever it is. By the time it comes out, the molecules of the water are jumbled. And if you magnetize it, it lines the molecules back up into their original state. And water is the basis for most liquids that we have, including blood, right? So blood is a liquid, and it does exactly the same thing. It helps the liquid of the body, and the body is what, 70% water. It helps the body to become more alkaline by wearing the magnets themselves. So you can look at what it does to water. You can apply that to any liquid you want, but at the same time, it's what it does to the body and to the blood when you wear a magnet on the body. Presto, I learn something new every time I tune in. Sorry, right, this is my job. Somebody was interested, so I said I'm going to keep it nice and light. I'm not going to go into too much detail because there's so much more that I can do. So basically, in a crunch, right? That's what it does. It improves the pH level of the body. Now, if you're on the website, and hopefully that's working now, yes, it does help to keep cancer away. And if you've got cancer and you can alkaline your body, it actually helps to prevent it from growing more, and might actually at the same time help to reduce it. But bacteria does not grow in an alkaline solution. It will always grow in an acid solution. So things like disease and illnesses and infections will proliferate in a more acid environment than in a more alkaline environment. So the more that you can keep your body on a neutral alkaline basis, the healthier you will be. Which is why I managed to beat my chest infections all the time without having to either die or go to hospital. But see this here. It's got an L. L is large, it's a size. That is 2 magnets, neodymium magnets, and a copper. Now, copper helps with other things as well, but it's like wearing an antibiotic. Copper is antiviral, antibacterial, and antifungal. So magnets and copper together, I always make sure that I wear at least one item on my body that's got copper as well as the magnets, because copper helps to prevent osteoporosis, helps to normalize and stabilize blood pressure fluctuations. If you've got, helps to prevent diabetes. If you've got diabetes, it helps to normalize the sugar around the body as well at the same time. The magnets, as well as the alkalinity, help to improve the circulation. So when you've got problems like Raynaud's, or especially with old age, the more acidic you get, the slower the system actually works. The slower the system works, the less oxygen gets around, the more acidic you get. When you wear copper, if you go green when you wear copper, then basically it means that your body's too acidic because it reacts with the copper. So it's like a barometer of the pH level of the body, like a thermometer is to the temperature. Does that make sense? Hopefully. So Patsy says that link's working. Yeah. So basically, I magnetize myself to a hilt. The most optimum place you can wear a magnet is obviously on the wrist, because you've got the main vein runs through the wrist, and that goes around the whole body all the time. It's rushing past that point. Every drop of blood will go past that point at some point. So wearing the magnet on the wrist is the most optimum place you can put it. However, if you have chronic problems, then wearing a magnet in that area can help really well. These are just sleepers, but we do some beautiful earrings. Studs, sorry, not sleepers, studs. Sorry, looking at myself backwards. So basically the studs, same size magnets in them as what you get through the bracelet, 1200 Gauss. Helps with ear, nose and throat problems. So if you've got somebody who constantly has like colds or stuffy noses, sinus congestion and all that sort of stuff, it can help with that. I can't say it actually helps with everyone because it doesn't work on 100% of people, but I'll go into that in a second. Also, it helps with headaches, migraines, anything to do with that side of it. Also helps with concentration levels, because it's stimulating. Wherever you've got a magnet, you're encouraging the circulation to work well. The necklace I'm wearing, I'm a chronic asthmatic. I die from asthma attacks and I suffer really badly. I've got weak lungs. So when I get chest infections or colds, they go into chest infections. Generally, I skirt on the pneumonia side of things and get hospitalised quite often. And that means a round of antibiotics and steroids and, knocks out my immune system. So by the time I get out of hospital, I get better for a while, then the next cold comes in, puts me into and it's a downward spiral, right? So in my 30s, I had the breathing of a 90-year-old, and hospitalised 4 or 5 times a year, and it was a never-ending cycle, and I had to make a decision to stop the chemicals in my body in order to give my immune system a chance to replenish. And so I suffered through for a little bit, and I found lots of different things. I went looking. When I was in my 30s, early 30s, there was no internet. You couldn't go on and have a look. I spent a long time in the library and found things like garlic and onion and all that sort of stuff that's natural decongestants and natural blood thinners and blood cleaners and things like that. When I found magnets in 2011, it took, I'd say, 5 or 6 months before I found that my asthma actually got better. So one of those blue inhalers, I used to go through one of those a week. Now I go through one every 2 or 3 months. So it's made a huge difference on my actual asthma. And I put that down to wherever you put a magnet, it improves the circulation. But at the same time, it relaxes muscles, and a lot of asthmatics, it's a tightening of the tubes that causes the asthma attack. So doesn't stop me being asthmatic. I will always be an asthmatic. I probably am still classed as a chronic asthmatic, but I no longer have the severity or the amount of attacks that I used to have, and that's because the magnet here, and I've got two. This is a 2000 Gauss and a 1200 Gauss magnet. And basically what that does is helps to keep my tubes from tightening. So it stops the muscles around my tubes from tightening. So if you can apply that logically, if you've got backache, any sort of pain, swelling or anything like that, you put a magnet on that place, and what it does is it helps to release the muscle tension or spasm, and also helps to relax the area around it. And generally any sort of back pain or spasms or anything like that is muscular. If it's not muscular, it's obviously can't help. This one here is called a magnet heart. So you've got copper, you put copper side down against the skin, and then this little tiny bit that goes on the top, you can put it anywhere on your body. So if you've got backache, shoulder ache, put it anywhere. I actually wear this on my knickers because I'm menopausal and it stops my sweats, and it does stop my sweats. And I don't feel like killing people nowadays either, which is always a good thing. But yeah, so that little piece of equipment there, it's called a magnet heart. That will actually, you can go anywhere on your body. So you can use it to massage. It fits quite nicely into the palm of your hand. So if you've got an area of particular pain, you can use it, small circular motions over the muscle that hurts or the area that hurts, will help to relax it better. I use it on people who have like frozen shoulders and things like that. So what I do is I do a 10 or 15 minute small massage on the frozen shoulder. Before I do it, I ask them to lift their arm, see where their maximum place is, and then by the time I've done 10 or 15 minutes, generally they've started to get a bit more movement back, and that really does make a difference on that side of it. I'm just going to leave that one there. So that's the magnet heart. So that can go anywhere. So you've got the bracelets, you've got the necklaces, the actual necklaces themselves. You can put the pendants on any necklace that you have, but our necklaces actually have magnets of their own. And if you suffer with neck problems or upper back problems, it's a really handy way of putting a magnet on the back of your neck to help with that side of things. So first thing question that everybody always asks me is, how I've got this wrong with me, what do I need to buy? Always the first thing I say is a magnet. If they've got any sort of pain, generally I will say get a magnet with copper. They're the cheapest ones that we do. They're flexible bracelets. Magnets should always be kept slightly loose. If you can see. Yeah. Slightly loose so that you can actually get, there's a little bit of give. There's absolutely no point in improving your circulation and then having it so tight that it starts to cut it off again, because that's really bad for the body anyway. But also, anyone that tells you that a magnet needs to be tight and over the vein is basically saying it's not strong enough to do what it wants to do. The magnets in this bracelet are on the top, and that works. That will go through and work on the blood that's running through the bottom of the wrist in the main veins, right? So you don't have to have it. You can put it there if you want to, but it makes no difference. But the top of the bracelet is actually where the magnets are. Some of the magnets have got them in various places. Some of them got like 5 on the way around. None of them actually have magnets all the way around because it's not necessary. That's overkill. When you have more than one magnet, basically what you're doing is you are compounding the strongest magnet by 5%. So this magnet here is 2,200 Gauss. So even though this is 2,000 Gauss and this is 1,200, 1,200, 1,200, 1,200, I've got two anklets, one on each ankle. So they're 1,200 Gauss as well. And I've got this generally sits on my knickers, and then I've got one on my belly ring as well. Totaled up gives me a total of about 3,000 Gauss. 1,200 Gauss is enough. One magnet on the wrist, unless you are particularly bad, is generally good enough to do what it needs to do. And that's what magnets do. You wear them in different places. Ultimately, it's working on the blood and then working on the pH level of the body. There's no maximum you can wear, obviously, because I'm smothered in them. The only reason I'm smothered in them is because I sell them. So it's nice to be able to wear it. So that, I mean, particularly for here, that's my illness. Always I wear a magnet with copper on my wrist. That's a Fitbit. And I had my ears pierced a second time so that I could wear magnets in my ears constantly, and actually worked out I've thrown away all the rest of my earrings pretty much, and I only have magnetic earrings because they've got such a large selection that it makes sense for me to actually wear the magnetic ones rather than the normal ones. The rings that you have, I mean, I sometimes, this ring that I've got on isn't. I sometimes put on the rings. I like my dress rings are Swarovski crystals, and they look nice, but at the same time they've got a magnet in it, again 1,200 Gauss. Wearing a ring on its own instead of a bracelet wouldn't work as well. Wearing a ring as well as a bracelet works pretty well. I've got RSI in my fingers because I've been a typist and administrator my whole life, so I've always worked on on typewriters to start with, and then electric typewriters, and now computers. So yeah, sometimes I have to put rings on quite a few of my fingers, especially when the weather changes, just to give my body a bit of a boost, because it does get painful. It's just one of those things. So that covers the water, that covers the various different items you can wear on the different parts of the body. Some of the other things that we do neck pillows, the ones that you wear on the plane. I find that really handy when I stay in hotels, especially if they've got those pillows that you could fold up into that square and it's still only that deep, and then you've got to try and perch on it. I find that really handy to take with me. A lot of the time, if I'm driving places, I've got problems with my knees, which is why I wear the magnets on my ankles. When I'm driving long distances, like I did to Manchester, then I will put the neck pillow, I'll just hook it underneath my left knee is the worst. So I'll hook it underneath my left knee. It's £44, but it's got magnets all the way around on the inside, and it's got memory foam, which is really, really comfortable. So if you do a lot of traveling, if you've got problems with your knees, it's a really handy thing to have. If you've got pets, we do pet blankets. They're about they're about 2 foot by about 1.5 foot. I actually I no longer have my dog with me, so I washed his blanket and I lay on that if I'm feeling particularly unwell, or if I feel like I'm fighting something, I just give it as an extra boost. Or if I do some exercise and then can't move the next day, then I'll make sure I'm lying on it. When I had an operation on my stomach, I took 2 brand new ones with me and got them to put them above and below me after the operation, and I had no bruising at all from the operation, and I had a horrendous operation. And I was up and out of my bed within 4 hours, I think it was, and I wasn't supposed to be up and out for 12. I had absolutely no pain relief whatsoever after the first morning, because I woke up as they were putting it in, even though I told them I didn't want pain relief, because I have a very high threshold of pain anyway, but also I didn't feel any pain. I felt sore, but I didn't feel pain. and I don't like to take painkillers when I don't need to. So for me, it's one of those things that makes a huge difference in my life. My mum had a hip operation. She had a hip replacement, and she's on warfarin. So when they done the operation on her, she had a massive bruise. She had a massive edema, which they were really worried about because she suffers with blood clots. And basically, once they'd taken the staples out, I managed to put the heart around the bruising, and I'd started to dissipate the bruising. Wherever you put a magnet, it heals where it touches, so it starts to take away the bruising straight away. But she had metal staples, so I couldn't put a magnet over that, obviously. As soon as I took the metal staples out, I've got a magnet. It's called a magnet bandage. It's about yay big, and it has 4 lengths of magnets in it. And we put it over her hips. And I've got pictures. I can't share it because I can't share my screen, but I've got pictures from day 1 that we started doing it to day 13. It was gone. The edema had dissipated completely. When she went to the hospital for a checkup, she was told that she would recover slower than every single person who had the operation on the same day, because the fact that she's on warfarin, which is blood thinners, which means her body doesn't heal as quickly, and she healed quicker than every single person on there. And they were like, wow. She's got an anklet. It's an expandable anklet, and it's got copper in it, because she has an edema in her leg, and she has had for years and years, and it's never going to go away. And until I managed to get the anklet on her, because she didn't believe me until she'd had the hip operation, she finally acknowledged that it does work. She put the anklet on, and whenever her leg swells up to the size of a tree trunk, and we're talking probably the width of my shoulders, her leg will literally swell, and it's really painful for her. All I have to do is I put the magnet bandage on her, make it go down, and then I put the anklet back on her. The only time she swells is when she takes the anklet off to have a shower and forgets to put it back on. When she's got the anklet on there, her leg does not swell ever. It's always going to be slightly bigger, but it doesn't swell the way it does when you take the anklet off. So it's really effective on recovery. When you wear a magnet, you recover a third quicker time-wise than if you don't wear a magnet. That's been proven. They use that on rats. In the UK, Bupa uses it. They put magnets in the bandages when you have an operation. Not all Bupa hospitals do it, but a lot of them do. The army has been using magnets for trauma cases since the war, because they know how effective it is. NHS hospitals in the UK have started to recommend magnets. You can now get, when you've got ulcerated wounds, the ones that just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, no matter how much antibiotics you wear, you can actually get, it's like a magnet strap. And what they do is they put it over the magnet, over the ulcer, on, like, generally it's the legs, and it's people who's diabetic and that. They put the magnet over the ulcerated wound, and it closes it up quicker than anything else, antibiotics or anything, because it heals where you put it. It heals because it brings the circulation to that point. That increase in oxygen, increase in calcium that goes there helps the body to heal quicker. Right, so Carl Lewis, hi. Hey boo boo, as a magnet lines up the molecules in one direction, that's why the flow is increased. Does that mean if you wear more magnets that have different polarity, they will counteract each other? Okay. Everything that I sell is negative side down. Negative side down is basically replicating what we require from the Earth's magnetic field. The Earth's magnetic field is constant negative field. If you put a constant positive field against the body, it sends it into hyperdrive, and it's really bad for it. You can actually, if you put a positive magnet on the brain, you can actually cause a breakdown. It overstimulates where it touches. So the constant negative charge is what we call a single polarity. It's a constant negative charge and positive away from the body. Negative into the body, positive away. Things like tens machines has a rotating positive and negative field. But that's something that you can do only for a short amount of time. And that has it's like a stimulation and a calmer, and then stimulate and calm, stimulate and calm, and that's what it does. And that's what a tens machine is there to do. But you can't have a tens machine on you constantly, which is why the stagnant magnets, singular polarity magnets, is what we sell. Other companies do other things. Some companies, they'll give you it's like a band with a magnet on each bobble on the end of it, and one will be positive and one will be negative. Apart from the fact that they are never neodymium and always they reduce in value, so then even if you got it the day after it come out of the warehouse, it would only last for 5 years. Personally, people that I talk to that have those ones, they either have a very good benefit or they feel nothing at all. I think it can counteract, but the people that have the very good benefit are the ones that need the high stimulation and then the calm, and then the stimulation and then the calm. But that's my personal opinion. Static magnets, static magnets is what we recommend as a company, and from all of the research that I've done, it is the best way of doing it because you're wearing it constantly. Presto says, do they accept crypto as payment, and do they ship to the United States? And they do. They ship it to you from Puerto Rico. So on my website, you get to choose your country that you're in, and then basically you put your order in, and then they ship it to you from Puerto Rico. It's actually America is a franchise of energetics. I used to have people in America selling this in my team, but I let my team lapse, and basically I'm just starting to build that up again. But I'm trying to get going, and what I want to do is I want to educate people into the benefits of wearing something that's natural, that has no downside. Somebody asked earlier, can you wear it over your heart? Yes, you can, unless you've got a pacemaker. The pacemaker, it doesn't interfere with like your watch or pacemaker or anything like that. If you put a magnet directly over that one, directly over something with a battery, and I mean directly over, it can drain the battery, right? That's what it does. So basically, anybody with a pacemaker, I turn around and say, right, well, actually, you can wear an anklet. You can't wear a necklace. I wouldn't wear a bracelet, but you can wear earrings, and you can wear the neck pillow. You know, all the bits that anything that doesn't have a chance. Because if you sleep and you've got a bracelet on and you sleep like that, then you could put the magnet over the top of it, which could help to drain the battery. If you put the bracelet, you can wear it on your wrist, not a problem at all. But if it goes like that over the top of your watch, which I doubt it ever would, but caveat is there, then basically it would drain the battery, so you'd have to change the battery quicker. Apart from that, my company turns around and says, if you are pregnant, don't wear it. But doctors send people to me that are having bad pregnancies, having really bad sickness in their pregnancies, because it does help to stop the sickness, morning sickness in pregnancies. And it's also really good if you suffer with travel sickness. So it does have some beneficial benefits to things that the company just wouldn't recommend, but they do that because of the off chance that somebody who puts a magnet on could then have a miscarriage and then come back and say, well, it's a magnet. Well, actually, it's not the magnet. The magnets, I mean, basically, if you think about it this way, Lourdes in France is the sixth most magnetized place in the world. So when you go into that water, it's a really high magnetic field that you've got in there. I don't detract from anybody who's religious. I believe in God myself. But I think that there's a reason that has kept its magnetic force when everywhere else in the world the magnetic force is reducing. And that's something that you need to take into consideration. 5G's coming. I don't trust it. I literally, yes, they do say it to cover themselves, Davey. 5G is coming. I don't trust 5G. I am going to step up the amount of magnets I wear for as long as I can. That increase in circulation actually keeps you really warm. I don't feel the cold very often at all. Anyone that knows me knows I'd never go anywhere with a coat, ever. But Presto said we should talk to your wife because she's in the spa business. Oh my God. We do magnetic blindfolds, right? So if you put a magnetic blindfold and it's got magnets all the way around, so what it does is it takes away all the puffiness around the eyes. If you put it on just before you want to go to bed, it actually takes relaxes all the muscles around the eyes ready for sleep, which is really good. But also at the same time, if you wear it when you're asleep, anyone that snores, it helps to stop that. And massive feedback. Wife bought it for her husband, who was a terrible snorer. They were sleeping in separate rooms. He wore the magnetic eye mask, and it stopped him snoring, and they could then sleep in the same bed together, which makes a huge difference. But it's so yeah, the magnetic blindfolds, amazing. So good for spas. The neck pillow, really good for that side of it. We do, if you look in the website, let me get the website up. If you look at the website, there is a whole section, because we've just had a new launch of some wellness products. And yes, that is me, by the way, magneticlady69@gmail.com. Tony Brockwell is my niece, and she's got the account at the moment, and my name's going back on there in the next few days. So if you click on the wellness aspect, we've got the magnet heart and the magnet strip is there in front of you on the left hand side. Magnet massage and magnet pebble. That magnet pebble, the round one, sorry, the magnet massage is the round one. The magnet pebble, which looks like a teardrop, that is really good for reflexology. So if anybody knows anyone who's a reflexologist, you can still feel through. It's got a magnet in both ends, in the narrower end and the bell end of it. But basically the top, you can fit a finger into the top of the, I've got one in here. I think I took it out. That is the size of the magnet pebble. Sorry, the magnet massage, not magnet pebble. I'll get the two. No, the magnet pebble isn't in here. Darn it. Well, if I'd have been more awake, I could have actually done that. So basically what we've got is the magnet pebble. Hi Allergy, hi Matt. We're not talking crypto tonight. This is to do with magnets. The name of the one that's on my left shoulder is Magnet Heart. And that literally can go anywhere. So it's good to see I've got my pajama bottoms on there. Basically what you can do, pop side down against the skin. You put the little triangle on the top of it, and you can put that anywhere and it won't come off. So it's really good to put on back. My mum has a frozen shoulder. Unfortunately, she had it operated on and it froze it. So it sealed her shoulder. So basically, what she does is she puts it on a t-shirt before she puts a t-shirt on, and that helps her with that. It helps with the pain and a little bit more movement. But this is it's magnet massage. It fits so well in the palm of your hand. When I do Reiki on people, I get them to hold one of these because they get the benefit. But when you're holding it to yourself, you put it copper side down into the palm and hold it. If you're if you're massaging somebody else, then what you do is it's a palm stone. You have it in the palm of your hand, copper side down, and generally you're doing it on naked skin. And that copper is actually going into the body because it's absorbed through the skin anyway. And then that is a really strong magnet in there. That's 2,200 Gauss, the same as this one here. Really beneficial if you've got people with chronic pain. If you can massage small circular motions. My friend in Holland, she actually teaches magnet massage, and she's got a huge business doing it. It's really quite good. Can you heat them? You don't really need to, because they make you hot wherever they touch. So that increase in circulation actually helps to heat the area where the magnets are. So if you've got backache and you put say the magnet bandage on your back, you will feel the heat as that circulation comes through. And it's, I mean, you could what I tend to do when you've got somebody with Raynaud's is I will literally take either the magnet palm stone or the heart, and then I'll hold it in my hand and heat it up because it's a piece of metal. So when I pass this over to somebody, just by doing it for a few, say about 30 seconds, and then what I do is I turn around and say to them, right, now put that against your face. It's warm, right? So you can feel it's warm. Now you do the same thing. And when they hold it like that, and then I let them hold it for a minute or two, and basically I get them to do that, and it's cold. Because when you've got Raynaud's, you don't share your heat. Hold on, someone's just asked me if I'm still awake. Live streaming. Minutes, and then I'm going to wrap it up. Bless him. Yeah, so basically that's it. That's magnets, and that's what they do. And that's how they work. They improve your circulation. They help with the pH level of the body. If you get the ones with copper, which are the cheapest ones that we do, then basically what that will do is that will tell you when your body's too acidic. If you can take the magnet stick and use that, I mean, every bit of water that comes out of the tap goes into a jug, into the kettle, into the birds' water, into my cooking, into my water, into my into my water bottle and everything like that. And also coffee goes on there, wine bottle goes on there. Also goes round a wine bottle quite nicely. You have to check the sizing, obviously, before you order. If you wanted to order one, measure it in centimetres, so that it's fairly loose, and then add a centimetre to it, and then I'll tell you what the size is that you need to order. That's not a problem at all. We do, our bracelets start at £25, all the way up to, I mean, you can get beautiful neodymium magnets, neodymium crystal magnetic bracelet, that's gold plate, it's gold coloured, but it's stainless steel, so they gold colour it, and then basically it looks like a diamond bracelet. And what people do is they use that, instead of taking their diamond bracelets with them when they go on holiday, they get one of those for, I think it's £120. They buy one of those and then take that with them, because it's not so bad for them to, I told him I'm live streaming. It's not so bad if they lose it, whereas if they've got a diamond one, then basically they are stuffed and have to go through lots of different insurances if they lose it while they're away. So it's a way of taking some nice jewellery with you at the same time that is going to keep up your pH levels, especially at a time when you're on holiday and you're not looking after yourself quite so well. So Tony Favell, I have arthritis in my knees, what would you recommend? Well, arthritis is copper is good for arthritis, so a magnet bracelet with copper would help with that, because it works on the blood, which works on the body. You know, it doesn't matter where you wear it on the body. If you're working on the blood, obviously the most optimum place to wear one is going to be on the wrist. You're driving, if it's your leg that you're using for your driving, if it's your right leg, then I would look to get the neck one, and then you can literally sit it on the neck pillow when you're driving, and that will really help. And if your back starts to hurt, then you can, because it's memory foam, you can just put it behind your back and then lean back against it, and it will help with that side of it. So you can just move it wherever you need to. Handy little piece of kit, that. I do like that. So I think that covers just about everything that I need to cover. I've covered the copper, covered the magnets, different areas, the different, I mean, obviously I've got thousands of products on the system. I mean, the one of the new ones that we've got is the cork mats. We also have cork, it's like little balls for self massage, one large, one small, and I have some somewhere. One large, one small, and then what you can do is you can give yourself a massage by leaning up against the wall. You put the ball in the middle of your back, and do it that way. We also do magnet slippers for wearing around the house. You've got the magnet pillow for the neck. You've got the magnet mask for your eyes. Magnet insoles. If you're on your feet all day and your legs hurt, or if you're starting to suffer with varicose veins and things like that, the insoles, they're really thin, the insoles, and really quite effective. And you've got 4 magnets in the front, 2 magnets in the back, in the areas that actually work on the acupressure points from having your feet done. And what that does is it stimulates the top and bottom of your back, but also stomach areas, so through the acupressure points on your feet. So if you have problems with digestive problems and things like that, celiac disease and stuff, then that could actually help. It's not a cure. It's not there to cure you. It's not going to make a blind man see or anything like that. But what it does is it helps to set the body into a position where, one, it can heal itself better or deal with symptoms better. So I found that people with, I had somebody who had such bad rheumatoid arthritis that her hands were so bad that she had to pick a cup up like that. She couldn't actually move and hold it like that. And she put a couple of rings on, bracelet on each arm, and within 5 months her hands were straightening out. Now she's been doing it for 6 years. She actually sells it as well now, because she's had such a remarkable recovery from it. She still gets the pain. She's still got rheumatoid arthritis, but she's able to deal with it better, and her body deals with it better. So she's not on as much medication, and her body is able to move better. One finger it didn't help. All the rest of them straightened up, and it helps to take the gnarliness away. So in actual fact, as well as being able to move her fingers, she's actually the fingers started straightening up. Obviously, it's not a cure-all. At some point, her body's going to catch up with itself, and it will start to get worse again. And she knows that. But what it's done is it's reset her body back to where it should be, because she was far too young when that started to happen for her. But because her body, we assume, because her body had aged, because of the acidity, that's the word, the acidity of the body, illness and diseases progress a lot quicker. She'd actually got older before her time, and she was only in, I think she was late 40s when it started, and she's now in her 60s, and I think she's in her mid 60s, and she's getting better, not worse. So it can really help with that side of it. But again, caveat is it doesn't work on everyone. It works on, I think it's 9 out of 10 people. You can't have a double-blind clinical trial for magnets. Full stop. Not possible. Because the moment you turn around and say to someone that they're wearing a magnet, the first thing they're going to do is go and find something metal and see whether that it's magnetic. So unless you're going to put people in a plastic room for 3 months during the clinical trial, so they've got no way of checking whether or not they've got wearing a magnet, so that you've got a complete placebo versus the actual trial going on. It's never going to happen. What they do at the moment is they put somebody on a mattress for 2 hours and they get up and they say, I don't feel any different. Well, actually, yeah, it takes about 3 weeks to work. So, go figure. So basically, what they did was they did a trial where they had low Gauss magnets. So they were less than 800 Gauss, and they had the normal bracelets, which was 1200 Gauss. And they split the group into half. Half went off with the low magnets, which don't work on the human body properly. And then the ones over 800 Gauss, which do. And then when it came to the crunch time, after 3 weeks, 70% of people said that they didn't feel the benefit anymore on the placebo ones, and 90% of the people who were wearing the magnets said that they still felt the benefit, and that they reported that they had a improvement in whatever symptoms that they had. So that's when I say it works on 9 out of 10 people because of that trial. But it's natural. You don't need to have a prescription for it, and there's no downside. It can't. Some people, when they wear a magnet, turn around and say, oh, I feel sick. In which case, I'll turn around and say, your body is adjusting too quickly. You obviously need the magnet more than most people, because you're feeling the effect of the change in that way. So do yourself a favour, wear it an hour at a time, and then after a few days, wear it 2 hours at a time, and after a few days, wear it 3 days at a time, and so on and so forth, and then build your way up to it. Doesn't happen very often, but it has happened. The other thing is the stainless steel is medical quality. So there's no nickel in any of our products. So it's hyperallergenic, but I have met 2 people, or is it 3 people, in 8 years that are actually allergic to the stainless steel. In which case, I basically turn around and say to people, do you know what? It's a really good thing that you've done that, because you need to let your doctor know that you are allergic to medical quality stainless steel, so that if you ever have an accident, that they don't put it in your body. Because I know somebody that's happened to, and she's got a constant itch on her hip. So that, I think, is everything that I needed to say. That is magnets in a nutshell, and has been going on for far too long. I've probably been on for an hour. If nobody has any questions, then I'm going to sign off. You've got me on Twitter. If you've got any questions you want to ask me separately, send it to me tomorrow, please, and I will answer any questions. If you want a one-to-one with me, then I'm perfectly happy to do that too. We can go on a Zoom or Skype or whatever, and I'll talk you through it. But that is what I do. That is my passion. If I could give them away for free, I would. I can't. So basically, if you order through the website, then in the UK you get free postage and packing. Elsewhere in the EU, I think it depends on which country you're in, but I think you do have to pay postage and packing in America. But if anybody, if you want to order quite a few things, and it's going to be an awful lot of money, then I'm perfectly happy to, if you tell me what you want and send it to me by PayPal, then I'll order it for you, and I will absorb the cost of the postage and packing. That's about as far as I could go on that one. I think that covers all the bases. So if nobody's got any questions, then I'm going to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. And I hope I haven't bored you stupid. I have 7 people in the room, so if you can smash the likes on your way out, then that would be really nice, and I will catch you another time, possibly tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Tuesday. Yeah, possibly tomorrow. Okay, see you later. Take care. Bye bye bye. Night, Angie.